So let's understand what happened after the patient booked an appointment with you. Um, the system will use the email address provided by the patient to determine whether this is a new patient or an existing one. If it's a new patient, it's going to create a new patient record in the patient module and create a session and associated with that patient for the first time. At the same time, also, the system will automatically send the consent forms to the patient to collect digital signature on the consent forms, and also will send the intake forms for the first time with the patient. If this is an existing patient, which means the email address is already existed in the patient module, then the system will not create a new patient record. Instead, it just create a session for this patient and associated with the patient record. Now, let's dive into the patient module in the CRM. So we're going to access the CRM via the link crm.zoho.com. Here we're going to find all the patients that created and you own those patients. This is the one that just booked appointment with you. So if we click on the record, we're going to see the main information about this patient, the patient name, the email address, date of birth. The other information here, you have the ability to edit it based on the intake session you have with the patient. So things like the parent email, the first parent email, the second parent email, the teacher email, if it's needed throughout the process, then we're going to collect it and store it in this area. Also, we have the address information if it's needed, especially for the billing information. The consent form signature section here manage the or track the status of the consent forms. So once the consent forms are signed by the patient, we're going to have the document ID, the document URL. You just click on that URL and you're going to be able to access that document, the sign date, and eventually the request status, which is going to be signed after they sign the consent form. Now, getting into the session, here in the left menu, we call this the related list. We're going to see all the sessions associated with this patient. So you're going to click on the sessions here. We're going to see the next upcoming session here. As you can see on top of the record here, we're going to see like a couple of stages. We're going to talk more about like each stage and what it reflects during or throughout the process. Similar to the patient record, we have multiple fields that help us to build the session or like to track the session with this patient. Starting with the assessment part of this patient, like the subjective, the objective, the assessment plan, and the current medications. These three fields are pre-filled by the standard information we have in your operation. However, you're flexible. You have the flexibility to modify this or add or delete whatever you like from these sections. Eventually, when it's an existing patient, we will carry over the subjective, objective, and plan from the previous session into the new session, just to make it easier for you to modify based on the updated information from this session. Now, the other things you may want to consider here is to add the ICD-10 and the codes. To edit these, we're gonna hit on edit on the top right menu here, and we're gonna add, for example, like the first. Let's delete this, for example. So the first row here is like this ICD-10. The second will be bipolar, whatever, and then we're gonna add similarly the codes. So this is the first one, and add a row, and that's it, save. The patient forms is important functionality in the system. For this specific patient, for example, you're gonna send the PHQ, the GAD7, I'm just adding anything here, and probably the V form. Once you fill up the required or the needed forms to be filled by the patient, you're gonna click on send email to patient. Sorry, you just check this box here and click save. What's gonna happen? The system will automatically check these fields and see like which forms it's going to be sent to the patient, and then update the patient email send date to October 2nd. Like this is the date we are on this process here. And if we refresh this, we're gonna see like the stage now is forms sent, which means the patient has already received the forms. Also, we can check this out, like we can find like this forms or these forms has been sent to the patient. They just can click on the link here and they can access the patient information, and they can see all the information required by them to be pre-filled before the session